Hello. Today I didn't actually plan the episode because I just keep kind of psyching myself out. I was telling myself your voice is fucking not worthy of being heard, sis. And then I was just like, you know what? I think everyone's voice is worthy of being heard. So I thought I'll get back to business. I wanted to talk a little bit about reinventing yourself as a creative and what you feel that you have on offer to, I guess, in a way, be art to the world. That's assuming that your mission is, in a way, to slow people down and to make them appreciate or learn something. For so long now, but very particularly recently, have been ebbing and flowing between wanting to be online, but then just genuinely wanting to eradicate myself completely from the online world and just like be a little fairy. I think the challenges of getting to those points where it feels like you're really just like stagnant in a way, those are the times that are the most formative. They're like when the tools need to be used the most, but often the trickiest time. I don't want to stew on this topic for the whole episode, but I really thought I'd touch on it because it has been a part of my life. And when you do get hit with a lot of positive comments and backlash thrown into a stew, you tend to really feel that gratitude for the people who support you and also spend time sifting through messages from people who are either really beautiful and soft and communicative about it, maybe angry, maybe like fuming. Everyone hears a question or a statement differently. When you're sharing things online, everyone is literally going to interpret what you say in their own way, in accordance with the way their brain is wired. It's kind of mental. So I copped a lot of shit from a lot of people who will say aren't in the arena. Brene Brown rolls with that, and I fully agree. She says that if you're not in the arena, you don't have legs to stand on. If you're not online sharing, putting yourself out there, practicing vulnerability, then you're not actually allowed to comment on the people that are actually out there having a go, which I think is pretty fucking epic. Like anyone who's putting themselves out there instead of just sitting behind a keyboard, I think that's incredible, because it takes courage and it takes mad vulnerability. I've been learning a lot about deepening current relationships. I think reinventing your relationships often, it's such a cool way to keep things interesting and to make sure that things just don't get stagnant. I know that I work like this and it's like a blessing and a curse, but I require stimulation from my relationships, like to be learning something or to be moving my body or to just be like creating something. So if it's a little bit boring, it's just the last thing I want to be at. I simply cannot. I wanted to tell this story because I thought it was quite interesting and kind of like a way to cope in my own creative way. So recently I copped this fucking insane instant message from someone just being like, you hate disabled people, you're like Jordan Peterson, you're fucking this, you're fucking that. I was kind of just like sitting with it. Initially just felt like, whoa, fuck, this is heavy. I wonder what's going on in this chick's life for that to be something that comes out of her. I just went for a little drive and I was heading out into the hills and I was just thinking, I'm glad that I went straight to like, I hope she's going to be okay. After that, I was just like, I come from a background of hating every ounce of my being. No one can ever hate me more than I've already hated myself. And that's speaking from a place of quite enjoying being in my own head and being in my own company in this day and age. It kind of like invigorated me in a way, and that's when I really felt it in my loins that if you are sharing things, people are simply just not going to resonate, and that's okay. And anyway, the thing I did want to say about my voice is that I'm constantly refining and I try to be as consistent as possible, but I'm also just like consistently, as we all are, evolving in a way. And sometimes I say things and I'll look back and just go, I can't even remember saying that. And I try to be as calculated as I possibly can, but when you're sharing from the head or the heart or wherever it is you're more likely stationed in that moment, sometimes you can just kind of say some shit that's a bit out of control. When you're voicing your truth, it's gonna make people mad and also it's gonna empower others. So keep on doing it. Keep showing up differently. I think it's cool to get inspiration from other people, but I think it's also really important to develop your own style and to be expressive. And again, that piece, I don't really love the word, but vulnerability. It's the secret elixir to life, really. Sharing from the heart, uninterrupted. Oosh. Anyway, I also wanted to talk a little bit about abundance because this one's pretty cool. So I just recently had a bit of a perspective shift where I've been just kind of just really trying to focus on abundance and not miss it, because I think sometimes things are pretty precious that happen and we sort of just brush it under the carpet and just let it go. But I think it's actually really important to spend a lot of time kind of in gratitude and thanking those things as they happen, however big or small. I wanted to talk a little bit about something I find problematic about blaming the system as opposed to taking individual responsibility. So we're talking individual responsibility. I see it as each day I have a responsibility to look after myself, look after my mental, spiritual, physical, psychological health, making sure I've got purpose, I'm meditating or I'm breathing or I'm doing these things that are going to really help my life. How have you designed your life? Because whether we like it or not, we're all designing our own lives and how they look. And I think a lot of the people who oppose the argument of individual responsibility are people who would prefer to say, fuck the system. I've copped a lot of backlash from people who think that I'm like a woman hater and that I don't support women and that I've always been just pro men, which is not true. I just think that men actually aren't as supported as they could be. I think I've always actually seen a gap where I wanted to support guys into being more vulnerable and open, and I definitely support women, but the thing that I actually just support is just people as a whole. It's always been my intention, my full intention is for people to realize their own potential, and that's what I feel like I came here to do, and to be supportive. But yeah, sometimes I stumble. We all stumble. Imagine if we didn't. It'd be like fucking, what's it called? Perfectville? Pleasantville? Oh my lordy. Yeah, it's not an I show up for you, you show up for me thing, but it's just like, let's just show up for each other. I wanted to talk a little bit about how all choice comes with loss and how kind of scary it can be to be kind of at a crossroads in your life where you can make one decision and it means this kind of life, or you can make that decision and it kind of means this kind of life. It's like the red pill, blue pill vibe. Sometimes it's even scarier to remain in the one spot in that safety. And I feel like that's kind of where I'm at in my life. I like to move, but I have such firm foundations. But I want to move, but I have such firm foundations. And it's like, it goes around and round and round. And it's like, I know what I need to do. I just need to get over my fear, which is what I'm doing. What is that fucking quote? The thing you must do lies on the other side of fear, or something like that. For so long, my biggest fear was being seen. And then I was like, oh, I must step out and allow myself to be seen. I am a bit of a wacky kind of character, which is something that I like about myself and something I appreciate in others. So yeah, this keeps wrapping back around to it, but you won't be everyone's cup of tea. This is something else I wanted to talk about. The power of words and just how important your own inner monologue is, and also evidently the way you speak with others, which is one that I'm really practicing more and more, is sussing how big my footprint is in my communication and how whatever I say does impact somebody in a way, like whether it's posi, neutral or nego, I have a footprint. So anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about the power of words and some words that I kind of cancel from my vocab because I don't find them to be necessary, and I do think that there's weight behind words. So simple words I do not use. Hate, I think it's just like fueled with so much. You can say it in a light tone, which, you know, it's chill, but hate, don't think it's really that necessary to have a part of your vocab. So put that little bastard on pause and see if it helps, or notice every time it does come up. Another one I don't do is jealous, for obvious reasons. I think jealousy is just stupid and just like get secure. Stop invalidating my emotions. Not saying that I won't feel jealousy in the future, but seriously, get a grip. Oh yeah, another one I wanted to talk about again, wrapping back around, is the words that you use with other people. In the past, I've been quite impulsive in the past when anger takes over and I kind of boil. I have been known to not sit with that and act accordingly later down the track. I've been known to react off the bat straight away, and that's when you're a bit leaky, you're kind of fuming and you're not really taking accountability in a way. So yeah, it's been really interesting to notice myself going from being quite impulsive to being like, I'll sit with this and just notice, what do you do? What's coming up? Is it mine? Is it yours? What's this? And I've also been noticing myself not wanting to sit with certain emotions or feelings or whatever you want to call them, being like, wow, that's scary. And then being like, wait, no, you can just like kind of like lie down and breathe through this. A deep breath is literally, it's like heroin, like one that where you just really open everything up. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about being open in your body as well, and how important it is to, I'm saying this for myself, I ain't perfect with it, but how important it is to be open with your shoulders back, heart open, just organs. Like, this says so much more than this. This says like, I'm closed off, I don't got no vitality. This says, yo doggy, are you looking at the girls? But it also says, my heart is open and I feel confident and giddy up, let's go. You know, and the same in a man. It's so attractive when a man just holds himself like so. Another really important one, and I'm rambling here probably, but stretching, and trying to stretch daily, because golly, we store so much. And I don't think we spend enough time releasing it. Or I don't know, actually, I'm not really eavesdropping on your life, but I just know that it's something that I have to implement often because I store so much. I wanted to talk a little bit about pain paving way for creativity. It's the funniest thing, but I guess I hadn't up until recently noticed how much creativity is the life force of that pain in a way, just like how you transmute it. It comes through you to heal you. No pain really is ever time wasted if you're channeling what's coming through. I wanted to talk a little bit about something that I have been learning for a while, is the importance of balancing your solitude with connection to others, and also realizing that there's seasons and phases where you're going to be more introverted or more keen to just hang out and more sociable and all that jazz. And we all just come out at different kind of times. And yeah, I wanted to talk about balancing that time spent alone and that time spent with people, and really using your intuition as a guide to doing what feels good at any given time. I think if we may as well talk about this. Like, I think if we're talking about, they say like a man's clock is 24 hours and a woman's is 30 days around abouts. And you know, for 10 days we feel like this, for 7 days we feel like this, for 10 days we feel like this. And it's just like, it's often changing, and the energetics of a woman's cycle are so just like stable and then bang, and then stable and bang. And it's, yeah, I find it to be our responsibility, no, to be really in tune with what our bodies need, because it is a dedication, like getting your cycle to be optimal all month long. It's like a full dedication. You have to literally make certain choices that are annoying, which do include FOMO sometimes as well, if rest is important. Yeah, I think it is important to notice that the women's cycle is like so, the men's cycle is like so, and how can we support each other and use like our differences as points to connect in a way. Another cool one that I've really been enjoying lately is supporting my friends through not fixing their problems. For so long, I was just like, sweet, I feel like I see the answer to that and I just want to share it. Why wouldn't they want to fix it? And I'm realizing now that a lot of the time people just want to be heard. And it's about recognizing, which one that person needs. Is it to vent, or is it to be fixed? Personally, I'm a bit of a solution-based kind of gal. If I'm wigging on something, I'd rather change it, but I need to be told. And also, it takes nads to tell someone where they need to shift. And it is also about delivery. But yeah, I prefer to be fixed, so oftentimes that's what I was inclined to do. But now I've been learning a lot more about listening, and it's something that I really respect in people. And I just realized that if there's something in somebody that I like, I can also have that too. There's no limitations there. So it's something that I've really been practicing, and it's quite rewarding in its own right. I also just enjoy shutting the fuck up. That's kind of mint. Something else I've really been enjoying recently is not talking about other people and not buying into like gossip, and just kind of like averting with humor, or just being like, hello, I'm going to go elsewhere in my brain as well. if you can't physically move your body in that scenario. That's been a really fruitful one for me. That's kind of like the 411 for me. I think my hottest tips are just keeping a clean space, making sure the people you spend time with are either filling up your basket or fucking just making you laugh. Like, it's got to be one or the other, but you kind of need to, in a way, be walking away feeling decent. We'll just say. Veggies are always going to be at the top of my list of important things to ingest. Good quality meat. Being in the sunshine as much as you can. Another cool task that I'll leave you guys with, which is one I'm probably just actually going to do myself after this, is the task where you sit with your book and you just write all your current thoughts, no matter how dark or heavy or positive, whatever they are, thoughts that you kind of have about yourself that are actually not necessarily true. And you kind of just like let it go and let it fucking spin, and then you realize that a lot of your current thoughts are just thoughts that you had yesterday and thoughts that you had the day before, and it's just like every day you're kind of living the same inner monologue, and how important it is to kind of challenge it every now and then and kind of rewire it. But yeah, I'm excited to just get into that myself. Even just sitting with it mentally and just being like, all right, what are my limiting beliefs? All right, I'll think of a few now just to get a little bit perso. What's something I believe about myself? I think I have a huge belief that I'm too masculine of a woman to meet a man in a way that would complement me, but I also know that my feminine and my masculine is actually quite balanced. So I always have to grab that thought and then be the one after that, because otherwise, if I let the first one take over, it's fucking Yokomo, it's game over. And it's like, again, you won't be everyone's flavor, but the right person, you will be their flavor. Unless it's something that's just like so fucking powerful and filled with love. It's just, yeah, I couldn't do the basic thing. So I'd rather just fucking send. Thank you for listening to me.